Jim Nadeau stumbled upon the wonder of ice sculpting by chance and never looked back. He started up one of the first full-time ice sculpting businesses over 30 years ago, and in all that time has never lost any of his love for the ever-advancing industry.
Taking a block of ice and making it something is cathartic. It's just I can't even explain it to you. It's hard work. It could be somewhat frustrating, but the medium is really pliable. When we take the ice out, it's called tempering. We let it get warm to carve it, and it cuts like butter. It's so nice. I love that it's going to change. So if you walk into a room at 6 o'clock, you're going to see a beautiful sculpture. At midnight, you're still going to see a beautiful sculpture, but it's going to be different because there's a rate of formula at room temperature. It loses about a ½ inch an hour. So what you're looking at is going to be different. So it's going to morph in the course of the evening. And I love that part. It's impermanence. It really is great. And people have to enjoy it now because it's not going to be here tomorrow. I got into ice sculpting strictly by accident. I was a line cook. I went to culinary school back in the early 70s, and I ended up working, I'm from upstate New York originally, and I ended up going to Boston and ended up working for the Marriott Hotel in Boston. And I was a line cook, and very happy, ready to go up the ranks, do whatever I needed to do. I happened to come to work one day when our executive chef was carving on the loading dock. I thought it was the neatest thing I ever saw, and I wanted to learn. And of course, he was one of these, European chefs with no personality and tough as nails. And he said, yeah, kid, come in on your own time, and okay. So if I was scheduled off, I would come in. If I was, the shift was over and he was carving, I'd just watch him for hours. One day, I was really, really lucky. I went to work, and he loaned me his tools and bought me a block of ice. Totally not discussed, no conversation whatsoever, and he let me carve. Well, again, I had no instruction. He didn't tell me what to do, what not to do. I didn't know what the heck was happening. So I thought I was going to attempt a swan. Well, as it turned out, he came back to the loading dock 4.5 hours later, and it was so bad, unrecognizable. He kicked it off the loading dock, turned around, went back to his office, never uttered a word. A week goes by, he does it again. He does it week after week after week. And then finally, coming from somebody with a very limited vocabulary or very, very quiet, he gave me the supreme compliment. He says, "It'll do." I was euphoric. I was so freaking happy. We used that particular piece on the Sunday brunch that week. I was on cloud nine. It was great. When I first heard about using a power saw, I think this is an art. This is terrible. Until I did it, I go, whoa, this is sweet. It made carving that much easier and replicatable. And then we started using router tools and die grinders, and it was like, wow, this is great. 15, 20 years ago, my counterpart, a dear friend of mine up in Canada, told me about this CNC stuff, and I was like, what are you talking about? So I went up and watched, and he literally hit a button and this thing carved out Coca-Cola in like 12 minutes, and I was floored. And one thing about CNC technology is once you capture the design, that you actually hit the coordinates, you have it forever in the program. And so we can replicate anything we've ever done in the past fairly quick. Personally, I think it's lost the magic, personally. But at the end of the day, it's like not using your email and staying with the fax machine because you like it better. Reality is, new technology is smarter and faster, and therefore you have to go along the flow. I'm a Neanderthal. I'm 64 years old. It's like I like what I did and what we did. I do like the end result. I got to tell you, the corporate logos are spot on and they're perfect, and our client loves it. We can add color like we couldn't do before. It's really beautiful stuff. It's just vastly different than when I started. It doesn't get better than this. I can't think of a better thing to do with my life and career as what I've already done. I'm very, very proud of the place, and my staff is excellent, and I love what I do. I love what I do. You never know when you walk in the door who's going to be calling or texting or emailing on what they want, and that keeps it alive. People do stuff day in and day out that nobody even notices. People notice what we do. They appreciate what we do. They like what we do. I can't tell you how many happy people they would not remember. They'd have a wedding, and they would remember if they had a band or what they ate, or that there were chair covers. They remember the ice carving. They had their picture, and everybody's picture was taken in front of that ice carving. So it's a very memorable thing, and that's exciting and fun. And even after all these years, it's almost 4 decades doing this, people still love what we do, and that's unbelievable in my world. From the minute, from that weird day back in the early 70s, walking over to the loading dock as a line cook, I fell in love with the medium, and frankly, I'm still in love with the medium. I don't know how better to say it.